Hey folks, welcome back. This is Lucid, and we're jumping back into the tournament. It's turn 5, I believe. I believe it's turn 5. We have a message from Ulm. Jotunheim to my north is bad news. Not a great matchup. Pythium is west. Will be bad news in the late game. But I think maybe I could overrun him early with higher quality troops before magic becomes a thing. This is actually true. Ulm has a critical weakness, middle-aged Ulm, with like magic resistance checks. So, because Pythium has a lot of Astral, in the late game, it's going to be a very bad matchup for Ulm. But in the early game, it's a very good matchup. So, that's a good assessment. And this is Sakane. I forget. I'm not sure if Jotunheim's a bad matchup for Ulm. My inclination is if you can deal with Scrotty, you can probably deal with Jotunheim early. Though things like Skelly spam, once he gets Turbo Communions, could be a problem. But because Ulm has fatigue issues, but I don't think that's a major issue. I think this is actually a decent matchup. Going east into the forest is a dead end for expansion, but will net me an extra border with Jotunheim and give me a stronger bargaining position later. I can double back to recently conquered provinces, which is cheap indie crossbows, and so I'll be able to add 10 of those to that army. Also, first cavalry squad rolling out, so this will be interesting. We've got the Ulm's battles first, so we'll go ahead and see what Sak is up to. I have seen some of these turns, and I will just say there is some pain and misfortune heading his way. So here he's fine, because his mage is protected, and these cavalry are nasty. And they're really good. Okay. Down here, let's see what's going on. It's got a squad. This should be pretty straightforward. When you have people with limps, sometimes it's good to go ahead and put them on guard commander. Just because they can actually mess up your formation. Here it's not going to matter that much. But they might as well be on guard commander, to be honest. Coming down here, we'll go ahead and watch for probably the first few episodes. We'll watch expansion with everybody. These are mercs, I believe. I think Riders of the Silver Step or something like that. I believe they were on the Holden Fire Command. It looks like they've been successful. So I bet you they lost like, what, 6 cavalry? Only 3. So pretty clean. Coming down here, Ind is attacking Scorpion Peaks. This is just what is left of his mercs. He had nothing better to do, but it was obviously pretty risky. I don't think Sparse Line was the right formation to have him in, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to change much. Coming down, we've got Bandar Log on the roll. Tiger Riders roll out. Now, Tiger Riders are super killy. Just look how they demolish just one tile after another. Beautiful. If we look, they've got, I forget what their bless is. Shock, Fire, Barkskin. Oh, interesting. Barkskin and Twist Fate. That is a very... I would say that is a strong early bless. It's not very killy, so it's not going to do terribly well against things like thugs. But Bandolog's going to have a lot of answers to thugs with astral magic and stuff pretty reasonably soon. The thing I don't like about Barkskin is it's good for expansion, but Bandolog has a lot of nature access, so it becomes redundant very quickly. And in fact, in lots of ways, it's easier for them to do Barkskin than it is for them to bless. Because Bandolog is a nation that, even though they have Recruit Anywhere Sacreds, they struggle a little bit until you can get astral preachers that can join communions. They struggle a tiny bit to do like mass communion for all their sacreds, but it's easy for them to spam out wooden warriors. So anyway, I think that was this. So they chopped up these guys. So Vanarus expanding quite well. Pythium. Oh, and I said we would do this from the world map. We're going to do this one turn. We're going to keep doing this one from the message screen, but we will come back in and do it from the world map. So here he has brought a lot of guys to deal with these Vinemen, and there's just no way this doesn't work. Unfortunately, a lot of his gladiators are going to make it into combat, and so some of them will actually pass here. So none of them died, but a lot of these gladiators aren't actually going to make it, so at least probably like 6. But anyway, he's taken this province. Vanarus, you can see they're successful expanding down here. This actually is okay. We'll just look at their... I think this is their starting army, because it's got archers in it. With a few Chud herdmen. These guys run in, and they're about to have their morale broken from their buddies getting killed. Yeah. So that's that. Pythium pinging the Lavaborn. I'll just show you the Lavaborn. This province is always a pain in the ass to take. Because these guys, I think they have 50% dark vision. Yeah. But you're going to be getting like the full penalty. They're not. And they have pretty damn good protection. And they hit like mofos. And they have the heat aura. Very nasty. They can definitely kill you if you're not well prepared. Coming in, because you have to kill them pretty quick before you fatigue out from the heat aura is the thing. And with the stat penalty and caves, it can all add up to be a good bit more miserable than you thought it would be. Ooh, we've got the Hoburg Guards and Hoburg Crossbows. One of the best units, in my opinion, in the game of the Indies. Hoburg Crossbow are wonderful. I like Hoburg Guard a lot too. Thing is, they have pretty nice defense, 16 defense. So even though these guys have an attack buff, they're still not very likely to hit, and they're not killing things quickly enough to get Blood Surge. Because if I recall, these guys have Blood Surge, yeah. So that's the thing with Blood Surge is, like, if you're winning, it makes you win faster, harder, and then like for thugs and stuff, it's good. But if you're on Struggle Bus, it does not. There's no stop. You were left on the Struggle Bus. And so that's what happened here. So Ind, who was expanding very well last episode, they definitely hopped on the Struggle Bus. And then here you can see they take this, but they lose a couple units. But otherwise, you know, things are going okay. Down here we've got a battle with Nabah. We've got a bunch of camels and their birds. Nab is a cool nation. I do think they're cool. Birds coming in. Birds inbound. And the archers pummeling these guys with arrows while the birds hold them in position. And that was pretty clean. Only lost one camel. Down here we've got Vanheim rolling out with some vans. This is a bit many vans. Like, these guys aren't all blessed. It's a problem. Let's watch this again. You don't... Yeah, he shouldn't cast Air Shield here. He should... Thing is, this is too many vans to get everybody blessed. Like, he needs to be 3 turns of blessing. Yeah. Most of these guys are probably not blessed. Yeah. Maybe he gets more of them? It's not going to matter because these are easy, but if he runs into a harder stack with these later, it could definitely come back and bite him in the ass. Anyway, cleans up these guys pretty easily. Here we've got Jotunheim coming in. Notice I said it correctly this time. And, okay, one of the skin shifters has changed forms and dies. Ooh, it's rough. You don't want to lose any skin shifters, if you can help it. So lost the skin shifter and a Jotun spearman. Here we've got Satis attacking out. Honestly, guys, if you're playing Satis, Elite Warriors, alright? Don't be confused or beckoned by false prophets. The Elite Warriors, only 9 resources, 15 gold. Oh my god, they're so good for early expansion. These guys, no. These guys, oh, no. Elite Warriors. Remember, Elite Warriors. 2 high damage attacks, slaves, so almost no upkeep. They have some morale issues, but you can deal with that. Elite Warriors. Be careful doing entire armies, like huge doom stacks of Elite Warriors, because the morale can be a motherfucker. But for expansion, and then for a lot of light raiding and stuff, and smaller groups, these guys are the shit. Potentially Elite Warriors mixed in with some Poison Slingers. But maybe not, because these guys kill stuff so fast that the Poison Slinger's not going to have much time to do poison damage. Okay, and so we finished watching all the stuff for this turn. So let's take a look. So we were thinking there might be some kind of hot and steamy action over here in Atlantis, in the Atlantis Yes area. But no. So what happened this turn was Yes had an army here. He was expanding. And he said, we're going to come back and defend my capital. Because he's worried about this god coming on top of his capital. So Yes's expansion is now pretty fucked. Because he basically gave up expansion. But now Atlantis is in an interesting position because they have a fair amount of troops. And they have their god. And meanwhile, they're about to start expanding again. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out over here. We'll go ahead and pull up the next turn, and we'll do this one from the map. And that should enable us to talk more about basically how the map is progressing. So, a message from End. Forgot to send the previous turn, but a diplomatic agreement has been reached with Jotunheim. The proposition came from them, includes a NAP 3, and being a potential ally in the First War. It also ensures that I leave 179 and 167 to them, as one is his cap circle and the other would otherwise totally block his eastward expansion. It also, after asking, ensures that 6 was mine to take. Interesting. So we'll go figure out what this is, since he messaged us about it. So Jotunheim is down here, so it's going to leave him this, and it's going to leave him this. But 6... Where's 6? Alright, 6 is going to be his. Which is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 away from his cap. 2 away from Jotunheim's. Oh no, 5 away. Wait, 1, 4 away from his cap. This one. So very aggressive expansion by End. And now we're not going to go through these here. We're going to go through these looking at the map. So we have a battle here with End. It's going to be interesting because it's heavy cav. So the heavy cav are going to come crushing into the archers, which I think is intentional. I think he cares not much about the archers, but he cares a great deal about his soldiers. So he doesn't want his soldiers really eating lance charges. And it's taking them a while to chop through these heavy cav, which unfortunately this small group in the front that's a little isolated. Okay, they're actually doing fine, but... Oh man. And their commander was mixed in here too, so if the cavalry got a lucky hit on this commander, it'd have been GG for this squad. But as it stands, they are going to kill everybody. So if we look at the battle toll, or the death toll, they lost 4 archers and 2 soldiers. Not bad for killing a heavy cav province. And it was knights actually, not just heavy cav. They also expanded in this direction. Now, End lost an expansion party last turn, so it's a little sad, but End has lots of expansion parties coming in. Yoink. But I think that was Jade Amazons, which is a great pickup for End. So it's really nice for them to have the water nature access. And then... yeah, they only lost 3 guys, so I would say that was a pretty nice pick. Yeah, so End's looking all right. We'll go to our right. I'm gonna get disoriented going to my left. Over to our right, we've got Satis, who has expanded down in this direction. Very nice. And we've got an expansion over here. So it looks like maybe even 3 expansions with Satis. These are not elite warriors. These are slave warriors. Slave warriors are okay, but they die a lot. A lot. Elite warriors. So you probably lost 15. Okay, 9. Not that bad. Anyway, we can't all get what we want. And I want Elite Warriors, but I get Slave Warriors. It's okay. Slave Warriors still hurt. What was attacking? Oh, he's been doing Assassin expansion, so he just sniped this. So he's had Poisoners out expanding and are killing commanders, and then once they're gone, the army runs away when you attack. So that was what happened here. So that's nice. That was one thing when I played Satis I didn't do that I probably should have. I really didn't get into the Assassin expansion game until later. Part of Assassin expansion, in my humble opinion, is a trap. And you really only want to do Assassin expansion for a few provinces early. After that, you end up doing Assassin expansion, unfortunately, for your neighbors. Because, like, when you attack like this, and they're like, oh, let's attack this because Satis hasn't taken it yet. Well, they move in, and then yoink, they run into your one Empoisoner and kill him and take the province from you. And that happens all the time if you're trying to do Assassin expansion, that you bump and somebody else takes it. But Satis, they're looking okay. They've got 2 expansion parties. One of them's pretty beleaguered. I don't think there's anything this guy can take. But this one's looking okay. Oh, they're getting Elite Warriors, guys. Okay. My prayers have been heard and, dare I say, answered. Okay, coming over to the elves, the feisty elves. We have a battle here with Zavans. And he's still... Oh no, here he's doing Blessing first. Good. Okay, I bet you he got most... I don't know if we can tell. Yeah, he got almost everybody blessed here. They weren't all blessed in the first salvo, but by the second one, he got all but one. Oh, and that one is dead. But I guess it was the dead one that died, too. I mean, the unblessed one. I think he was unblessed before he died. I don't think he became unblessed. I don't think you lose your bless icon if you die. Anyway, successful expansion this way. And I can't see what he's building up, because elves are invisible to me, even though I'm playing Omniscience. But I assume he's going to go ahead and expand this way. But End right now looking very large, very in charge. And we've already done End expansion. Let's come up to Ulm. So Ulm... Okay. This battle is going to be seeped in misery. So this is the issue with Heavy Cav expansion, is you risk having people get back to your commanders, and that's obviously what's going to happen here. The trick is you have to... what I have found to be most effective is you want to have a Heavy Cav commander with 4 or 5 of the guys on guard commander, and they follow him in. I think that's really the only way to do it here. Because otherwise you're risking some idiots coming back here. And this isn't really ideal, because they've got a tribe priest here entangling some of them, too. But, Witterwit... Oh, wait, no. Arvandus has closed in ranks, and he's very, very angry at these old men back here goading these young knights into action. And, yeah, he chops him in the face for 22 damage. And unfortunately, even though the knights have broken these armies, they are broken themselves. And so he's going to actually lose a fair amount of them, most likely, in the retreat. And that is, I would say, a very big deal. Because Pythium has now closed in here. Vanarus is up here. We haven't obviously covered their movement yet, but now the world is closing in around Ulm. So poor Sakane really needed this, because... Yeah, he would have been okay bumping, but now he's not even going to have the opportunity to bump. He's just going to be Struggle City over here. And Ulm is a little slow out of the gate, because you really do need to get those resources. And the other thing I don't like is I don't like the decision to move these Mastersmiths out, because these Mastersmiths give resource bonuses of 10. And you really do, not only do you want them hitting your first war targets, but you also really do need the resources from them to get your first, squads out. So in my humble opinion, you can do expansion with Ulm in multiple ways, but in my humble opinion, you either have the option for doing your light, you can do a mix of like your lightest guys, who are still a lot of resources, and like war dogs, and just try to have enough like damage per square to like clear stuff. You could do these guys too in war dogs, or like these guys just by themselves. War dogs also cost some resources, but not a ton. Or you can do the Black Knights. If you do the Black Knights, you're going to want to, in my opinion, pair them up with Black Lords, which is going to reduce your mage recruitment, but you have a Citadel, so when it's a turn where you're going to make a Black Lord, you'll just, let one, like that, because normally you're going to have two Master Smiths queued up, so you just unqueue one of them up, and you get your Knight going, that one turn, that you're going to send an expansion party out. And I think, but I could be wrong, I think these guys can actually do pretty well with just them. Like, I think this guy and 5 bodyguards, I think can clear a lot of provinces. The thing you worry about a bit is with the guard commander is your commander tends to be at the front of the formation, and if somebody dies, a lot of times it's your commander. But in my opinion, those are all issues you can deal with. And there's a bunch of varieties I haven't tried. Like, what happens if you put these guys at the very front and they charge in, and then you have like war dogs behind that are just going to help kind of like mop up some of the troops, kind of make the battle end before, because it's going to take a while for these guys to get worn down. The other thing you can do is you can have, like, if you're doing 10, you can have a few guys on guard commander, and then you can have like 6 or 7 guys in the normal squad, and then the normal squad's positioned slightly in front of the commander, so that way the commander is not going to take like most of the hits. But you do not, in my opinion, want Master Smiths out leading squads, and that's the second time I've seen that with Ulm. So I don't know what they're doing, but I don't think they've played Ulm before, so it's a bit risky for Sakane here. So anyway, that's Ulm. Did they have a bump here? No. But this is the battle with Vanarus. We'll just watch this real quick. These are his mercs. He's getting a lot of mileage out of these mercs. Okay, coming over here to Atlantis. So Atlantis has expanded again. Coral Queen plus some Mother Guard. We can see a fair amount of mercs here. Does he have... Okay, he has the Swimming Men, which is underwater mercs. And this is a really big deal for him, because now he can probably expand with them. He unfortunately got attacked by Indies here. Little wolf event. And I don't think this... I think this is 3 PD. I don't think this is 6. I think if he did 6, he probably would have repelled it. But that's unfortunate for him, because now, like, income from this is cut off. If he loses a battle here, like, everybody's dead. So he needs to, like, backfill this. But anyway, he's expanding. So this is... and meanwhile, Yes is just hanging out. And there was a battle here where Atlantis is pinging Yes just to see what's going on. So Yes has all the Morvarks he can muster. And we're going to find out what bless he has. So there goes Divine Blessing. So it's cold weapons, attack +2, shock resistance, poison resistance, cold resistance, magic resistance, undying, blood surge, and larger. Now larger is interesting because it makes it where you can only fit one of these guys per square. Which normally, is not great because it's going to lower attack density, but what it does is it makes it easier for you to form a line. And why that is good is it's going to make it, with smaller groups of Morvarks, you can prevent being encircled. Because what will typically happen is your Morvarks are not going to die unless they're surrounded. And that's what larger, I think, accomplishes. In addition, they get more HP. It's not good for their defense, which is a little kind of anti-synergistic, because you really want defense. But they also are going to hit harder. So I think it's a pretty good choice. I haven't run it, and I haven't played a lot of Yes, so I don't know. But this is a very good player playing Yes, so I will defer to him on this matter. But that said, he's in a rough situation. There's a few things we can tell. One is he's got a fair amount of Morvarks so far. 8? And then he did not really PD dump. Because it's just a scout battle, I can't pull up the actual report. But we can see what was there. So anyway. So that's Yes. Nothing else going on in the Yes front. Yes is going to have to make decisions very soon. Are they going to expand outwards? Or are they going to kind of double down and attack it? The dominant move would be okay, I'm going to attack Atlantis over here. And, we're going to live or die by that. If Yes continues to sit in his cap, it's not going to be good if Atlantis is still expanding. What it will mean is that Atlantis can even suffer a loss and still be in a good position. Whereas Yes is going to have win after win to get back into it. But with Morvarks, anything is possible. Yes also is going to have an interesting decision to make because there was a ping from Atlantis this turn, and there's the Mercs, there's a pretty good chance that Yes is saying, that Atlantis is saying, now is the turn I'm going to go in. So this would further incline Yes to spend another turn patrolling on top of his capital with his troops instead of expanding. And I think the more time that goes by, the better, the more okay Atlantis is with that. So anyway, I find that interesting. Moving along, we've got Pythium. So Pythium is expanding down here. He's got, this is just a pretty normal expansion, but it's Velites with Alay Legionnaires and Rotarius. I would say pretty clean expansion. Over here, he's got a much smaller squad, but took on a much smaller group. And that was successful, no losses, so very clean. Pythium so far, I think, is doing pretty well. Pretty clean moves at him. He was slow out of the gate. And I think he might have lost the battle, maybe at the very, very beginning or something. I can't remember. But anyway, 3 expansion parties. This group is probably... Well, no, probably not going to be able to go there. He's probably going to have to consolidate these groups up here. That's what I expect. So these 2 go here, and then this is strong enough to probably keep going. I'm not sure where it's going to go. If the aggressive move from Pythium would be to try to take this, or to take this, the safe move would be to take this. But he's got another squad which is probably about ready to come out and take these deer tribes. So we'll see if he expands this turn. All right, and we've covered Ulm. We've covered part of Vanarus. Vanarus also moving over this way with his Chud Herdmen. 20, we'll just watch this because I want you to see what 20 Chud Herdmen do. Just look at the blender fest that is about to start. Loses a couple that were kind of out in front, but now it's turn the blender up to power setting 5. Chop, 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 chop. Chop, 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 chop. Yeah, that's how Chud Herdmen do. Okay. And yeah, Vanarus was wisely pinging this with the scout. When you see this many heavy cav, you want to know exactly how many it is, because it's going to take a major investment to deal with this. And you want to know, you don't want to underestimate what's here when you're having to invest so much to take a province. So, wise ping from Vanarus. Okay, now coming up, so anyway, he expanded twice, so good for him. That's a pretty good, if you're not expanding twice by early fall, you're on Struggle City, or Struggle Bus, headed for Struggle City. Jotunheim, coming over here. He's got his little Vedi archers. Are these guys size 2 or 1? Oh, they're size 1. That's so cool. Some people were saying when I did the patch overview for the new nations, they weren't a huge fan of the sprites for the new Neefle nations. I like them, guys. I think they're really cool looking. I dig. So thank you, Ilwinter, for doing such cool shit. Okay, so Jotunheim, they come over here. They've also expanded over here. I think these are Wolf Tribe with 2 daggers. Yeah. Wolf Tribe are actually going to be okay against these guys because Wolf Tribe have high attack density but not high damage. So, like, these guys who don't have a ton of armor, they actually get sliced up pretty good from dual-wielding daggers. But if you have a bit more armor, your Wolf Tribe aren't a thing. Wolf Tribe are one of those things. They're like, if you have very low armor, they're very nasty. And if you have pretty okay armor, then they really don't do much. They're very rock, paper, scissors-esque. But you can see, just look how different the map feels for, like, Jotunheim, who's like already feeling so pinned in with Ulm and End all the way above him. End is just, and look how much space End has. Like, Ulm's been struggling to expand. He's got Atlantis, who's busy rushing Yes, so is not trying to take any of this stuff. And meanwhile, End also did blind expansion, turn 0. No other nation did. So, End is really looking super solid, which I'm really excited about because I would really like to see like a solid End playthrough. So seeing like a dominant End, I would be super stoked. Like if that is the only thing we get out of this tournament is just seeing a really good End playthrough, I will be super stoked because I have some thoughts on it because I've looked at them. I've kind of done like a brief analysis of them. I've thought about what builds I would do, but it's a lot different in theory and in practice, and so it would be really interesting to see what can actually happen. So I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, over here, Nabaa, clean expansion over here, even when running into a Pyromancer. Does he have gems? That's the question. Okay, he only has 1 gem, so it's probably... He doesn't really cast anything. He just dies to birds, actually. So clean. Nabaa, anything else? Ooh. Struggle bus for Nabaa. I was thinking they're doing good, but like, where are all their... Oh, well, they have glamored units, so I might not be able to see it. They might have a bigger... And they've obfuscated and other things. I might not be able to see all the Nabonese armies. And that is a word, by the way, Nabonese. But I mean, look at Nabaa. It's turn 6 and they have 2 of their cap circle. Like, that's... It's okay, but they only have 1 expansion party actively working. People said expansion with Nabaa is trivial. I did not find that, and I have found you can definitely do it, and you can do pretty well. I did not find it was trivial. The thing is, these camels are pretty expensive, and they tend to take attrition if anything gets to them. So part of it is I probably just haven't played them enough. And the other thing which you can do is you can recruit. You have a lot of foreign recruits. So every place you conquer, and this is what I did when I was playing them. I was recruiting everywhere, and I had like this whole network of people moving them around to get eke out a slightly better expansion party. And I think that was why my expansion was okay, but it wasn't great. But it also prepared me well for my first war. All the foreign recruit stuff, because I was definitely taking advantage of that. I don't know how much of it this Nabaa player is, but I can see some here. I don't know if he's been recruiting those, but this is not good. 1 expansion party, 4 provinces, turn 6, not good. So all of End's neighbors aren't doing phenomenally. Well, meanwhile, End is doing great. So this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Okay, coming over here to Bandar Log. Bandar Log doing okay. They've expanded here. They lose some of their Atavi infantry to heavy cav, but this is pretty clean. Let's watch this, because there's not a lot here. And even a few heavy cav can cause some problems. So the heavy cav close in with the Atavi, and they eat the lance chargers like good little monkeys. And then while they're occupied, but before they have all managed to scurry off the battlefield, the tigers close in. And we've got the prophet with the smite. And now the guys are gone. But now these tigers, this is where the bark skin matters. Because they have bark skins, so they have 20 protection, and they have twist fate. So they're going to dodge the first attack. So that for the first attack to go through, it's got to get through their defense and get through 20 protection. And that's why he wanted these lance charges eaten. Because once the lance charges were eaten, it's really unlikely something's going to get through that protection. And then that twist fate ends up giving you a lot more value because it's a lot long. It's going to be a lot longer basically until something gets through that protection. So how about that? Interesting. I mean, this is a budget expansion force, guys. And to kill 7 heavy cav is no joke. And this is obviously not a super hard indie province, but that is budget expansion. So props to Bandar Log for that. Now up here he's got... This is the other funky thing about doing sacred expansion with Bandar Log is you end up using these shitty monkeys to bless your troops. And the problem with this, obviously, is your monkeys can die. That's the other thing, nice thing about taking a protection bless is they're less likely to die to archer fire with twist fate and stuff. Yeah, this almost guaranteed he would have died here if it wasn't for that. So I would say that is a credit again to Bandar's Bliss, which I was kind of doubting is, you know, everything is not an individual thing. It's the sum of its parts, right? So maybe this Bless isn't optimal because you can do Wooden Warriors later, but otherwise, how are you going to do Sacred Expansion when you are struggling like with these guys dying to every enemy archer that targets them? So interesting, kind of cool. Kind of cool. My approach when I did Bandar Log is to not rely on the Sacreds really and do more scales and transition into Sacreds. That was my thinking on it. But this is another way to do it. And so that's kind of cool to see. Okay, and then here... Okay, that was a Vanarus ping. And I think... Okay, no, we haven't been through everybody. We've done Vanarus, though. But have we done Satis? We have done Satis, because these were the slave warriors coming out. And they were... Yeah. So I think that's it, guys. We've made it through turn 7, or turn 6. Next up will be turn 7, which I think, for me, in real time, is the current turn of the game. So I will be seeing you guys then. Take care.